The devil's on the loose and he's dancing with the mummy.
Doc Mark and Chorus, the little mummy, here to bring you another episode of Macabre Cast, where we'll be dropping R's where they belong and adding them where they don't. When Macabre Cast began, I really didn't know what it was. All I knew is I wanted a podcast-like forum to geek around about horror films with fellow monster kids. And I won't lie, in the early stages, it was like pulling teeth to get any of the 800 and something followers on Macabre Theater to send in voice messages or pictures. I really didn't think it would last. Still, there's not as much participation of the masses as I would have liked to have had seen, but I'll tell you what it did create. It created the Drac Pack, a wonderful bunch who, without their continued thoughts and opinions and reviews, this show would not have survived. Grim Kim, Scary Larry, Hard Chat Matt, Tina from Chicago. Like it or not, we're a monster family now, and it's growing as on occasion we hear from Litany of Brittany, Velvet, Anaphylactic, and there's always room for more. So God willing, here's to another 50. Cheers to you, almighty listener. This is truly Wolfman Dance good.
Where will we find the mummy?
Don't worry, the mummy will find you.
Oh, Karis, glad you could make it. I mean, it's only the 50th.
The 50th. Maybe it should be the farewell show. Have you seen your views lately? This show went from an average of 30 to 60 views to 5 to 10.
Ew, seriously?
That is so gross.
Well, Karis, some things come to an end and some things don't. And I don't think people's love for horror movies is going to end anytime soon. As far as the show, well, things come in waves. Viewership will be up. And that's not why we're here. That's not why it's all about. But let's not be so gloomy. It's the 50th. And the sound of putridness in the air. It's time for another horrible mention. Horrible mention. And today, no exception. We're going with the remake of The Fog from 2005 with Tom Welling, who was a great actor and had his moment with Smallville. Not so much after that. This might have been his big break, but yeah. This was produced by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, which was kind of a thing for a while, where these directors were coming back and producing their own remakes of their own original films. But you know, you only ask for a do-over when you hit the ball into the trees, not when you knock it out of the park. Or, you know, even if you don't think the original Fog was a knock it out of the park film, it was at least a ground rule double. And even though he had a chance to make this a do-over and make it better, wow, it just fails on so many levels. It's kind of like when you are putting together a spray chemical cleaner and you put water in it, and too much water, and you've diluted it. Kind of the same thing that happened with the characters in this remake, this 2005. It suffers from character dilution. Let's go with this. The fog in it is CGI. They couldn't even get fog machines in to do this, and everything about this seems synthetic and falls flat, completely flat. They set up these what could be iconic scenes, and they just hit the floor. This movie brings absolutely nothing new to the table, and doesn't have an ounce of the haunt that the original had. And there you have it. The Fog, 2005, starring Tom Welling, is this week's horrible mention.
My kind of town, Chicago is.
Hey, Karis. This is Tina from Chicago. I just wanted to call in and say happy 50th episode. I hope everything's going well. And I had a couple of questions. First of all, anybody reviewing Late Night with the Devil? Because I missed it in the movie theaters. And I, just wanted to know if I should bother getting Shudder just to see it. Also, a movie called Immaculate. I've heard that the last 15, 20 minutes of the movie are just really disturbing. And I was just curious if anybody's seen that yet. Also, recently I've had a lot of time on my hands, so I've been rewatching the show Stranger Things. I'm just curious, what does everybody think of, or anybody think of the monsters in that show? Because it's pretty, it's pretty creepy. A lot of parts of it really remind me of old monster movies. I was just curious. But I just wanted to say, I hope you keep going and have 50 more episodes at least. And I'll be listening. And I'll see you in Chicago. See ya.
Thank you, Chicago Tina. And you should have Shudder already. It shouldn't take Late Night at the Devil for that. And I know Scary Larry is somewhere down the line on this episode, and I'm sure he has a lot to say about that. As far as Immaculate, yeah, disturbing is, to say the least. I think a lot of Catholics are going to be very upset with a lot of things in Immaculate, and in The New Omen, for that matter. In Stranger Things, what's not to like? It's like Steven Spielberg and John Carpenter had a baby, and the baby made a movie, or a show, a series. But I think I've seen it through 3 times now, waiting for their biggest problem is they take far too long to put out the new seasons, which I guess the next one coming up is the last.
What you talking about, Willis?
Hey, Doc Mark and Karis, Hard Chat Matt here. Just calling in to say congratulations on the 50th episode. That's quite the milestone. I usually end my calls by saying I look forward to the next episode, but now I'm looking forward to the next 50 episodes, and the 50 after that, and 50 after that. Let's keep this thing going. Doc Mark, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the hard work, time, and energy you put into each and every show. You always have breaking news and great insights, and it's just a fun way to start the week. It's nice to know that Monday morning I always have a little Macabre Cast to kick off the week on the right foot. I did include a picture of a little piece of horror merch that I just picked up recently. Not as big as I was hoping it would be, but it's a Friday the 13th Part 3 mini 3D poster. It's about the size of a VHS case. The name of the company that makes it is 3 Deep VHS Horror, so that explains why it's the size of a VHS case. As of right now, they only have the Friday the 13th Part 3, which was in 3D, so that makes sense. And Jurassic Park and the original Stephen King's It miniseries posters. But I didn't really care for either of those two. And as a huge Friday the 13th fan, I just had to pick that one up. Anyways, Doc Mark, once again, congratulations. And I can't wait to sit down and kick off next week with the 50th episode. Keep up the great work, buddy. Look forward to new episodes.
Horror Chat's always buying stuff because, I don't know if you remember, he sent pictures of his bat cave where he just has this shrine. I can't do that because my basement is full of garbage and there's no room for a bat cave. I actually have a lot of horror stuff still sitting in boxes, sitting around. I just have no... One day, right? I'll retire. I'll have a chance to be able to display all this stuff from my wheelchair.
No room to display it, but you just keep buying it.
I want to talk a minute about the classic Universal monster films and favorites. Now, it's easy. Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, The Mummy. These are the obvious go-tos, okay? I'm going to mention a film, and if you haven't seen this film, you need to seek it out. Stop what you're doing. Run and get it. This is from 1934. We have Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff, The Black Cat. Now, if you've seen it, you know where I'm going with this. If not, you got to hear me out, okay? Definitely in the top 5. This is right up there. This is, in a lot of ways, better than the go-tos. Based on Edgar Allan Poe in name only. So you don't go into this thinking you're going to see an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat. Okay. A lot of Poe going on in this, but it's not based. It's only in name only. Unlike most of the films in the 1930s, it was kind of, they'd have music in the credits at the beginning and the end. It says music throughout, and being a musician, that's a big thing with me. I think that sets mood. It's what I feel 1931's Dracula lacked. But music throughout. It's all classical pieces. So the basic gist of this is Peter and Joan, they're on their honeymoon in Hungary, right? Why Hungary? I have no idea, but they're in Hungary on this train. And due to a mix-up, okay, they have to share a train compartment with this psychiatrist, this doctor, okay, played by Lugosi. And amazingly, even though he kind of comes across as creepy, Lugosi wonderfully plays the good guy for once in this one. Yeah, he's the good guy. He left Hungary 18 years earlier to fight in World War I and hasn't seen his wife since. He's been in a Siberian prison camp for 15 years. Okay? So after the train, all the passengers have to take these bus type vehicles to their final destination. Well, the bus that they're on with Lugosi crashes. Okay, Joan's really hurt, but the other two aren't. So Lugosi's going to take them to this person, who's going to be Karloff, who he was going to see, or that he knows from his past, and he brings the couple there so she can heal. So as Joan starts to heal while they're staying at this Karloff's place that Lugosi takes them to, they're kind of eager to leave. They kind of want to get going, and there's all these excuses made, and the road is out, and they can't do this, and there's no phone, and it's not long before we learn what the actual connection is between Karloff and Lugosi. And this movie is so ahead of its time. There's all kinds of cult and Satanism going on, stuff that was really rare for 1934. Even though they never come right out and have upside down crosses and all that, you kind of know what's going on. And what a barbaric ending to this. And the Karloff character he's just a really sick, creepy individual, and I don't want to get into why because it'll give too much away from this film. But 1934 is The Black Cat. Please, if you have never seen it, seek this out. It's on DVD. It's on Blu-ray. Definitely worth owning. Okay, I'm sure a couple copies.
Grim Kim checking in for the 50th show. I know a place where the grown-ups go, all to be called monster kids, with Dark Mark at stage left inviting you in as he exclaims, on with the show. It's Monday Eve, there's something to grasp. It's been a long day of busting your ass. A ride home from work is always way better as you flip on Macabre Cast. So sit and relax and forget for a few. All of our troubles and worries can wait. Listen to tales in the creepy vein, brought to you by Mark and crew. If you don't have a moniker yet, your nickname will be assigned to you by the uber creative Dark Mark, and like the 80s MTV The Tubes, she's a beauty too. Cue up earworm. Whether it's movie critiques or films to be seen, Horror Chat Matt delivers each time with a New England accent we most seem to have, succinctly showcasing the talents of fiends. Speaking of eloquent, I shall not ever forget the perennial deliveries by Scary Larry, giving his spin without spoiling the end, and for that I am forever in debt. There's also Chicago Tina, whom I just got to meet. With a twinkle in her eye and a most gracious smile, she sought me out post Mark's Blizzard of Oz show without missing a beat. I love that I've met most of the cast in person thus far, especially when I feel like Weird Barbie. Cute and bubbly exterior, but damn, her humor runs dark. Would make me feel perhaps subpar. But Dark Mark has created from the depths of his lab, much like Frankenstein's monster, a misunderstood creature, and smiles as he invites you to take a stab at the art of connecting in this techno new age through our shared love of most things dark. Karis and Mark provide a fun place to be real and beckons you to center stage. Best wishes and success, Mark, on your new terror channel, All Things Old-Timey. I wordsmithed off the cuff with the 50th show in mind and wanted it to rhyme without being too rhymey. Just to have a place to be creative and weird and above all real means the world to me more than you may ever know. Because there's not always a place for Weird Barbie to be in this world besides the bottom of the toy box barrel. Grim Kim signing off with her kooky stream of consciousness. Thank you, Mark. And by the way, I am having a blast. Love you all.
Grim Kim not only arrives at the 50th, but she arrives with her own written version of Grimm's fairy tales. Well played, Kim. That was so great. Thank you. And see you on episode 51.
Don't forget our newest segment. You asked for it. Asked for, I don't know, movie reviews, shows to cover whatever. You ask, we deliver.
Is this something you could share with the rest of us, Amazing Larry?
Greetings, Dark Mark and Karis the Little Mummy. Scary Larry here, and first off, want to congratulate you on reaching the milestone of your 50th episode. I truly admire your dedication to all things horror. My review this episode, I've been saving for this very occasion. Late Night with the Devil. This was one I was waiting for, and although this Shudder movie would drop later in April, I had to go to the theater to catch this on the big screen, and I was not disappointed in the least. To start, although I am not a fan of the found footage genre, as I feel it's been done to death, see what I did there, this was a very different take on it. The concept was of a live TV broadcast of a Halloween special, late night talk show gone horribly wrong. And it's like you're watching the rebroadcast of the events in question. It's set in the 1970s and done quite well. Jack Delroy, brilliantly played by the character actor David Dastmalchian, I don't think I'm saying that name right, but I tried, is a rising star in late night television. He spent years competing against the late night king, Johnny Carson, well before Letterman, Hall got their shows in the early 80s. He has a great ride up to the number 2 spot, second place. But no matter how hard he and his team of writers try, he just cannot seem to beat Carson in the ratings. Tragically, or so we're led to believe, his number 1 supporter, his wife Madeline, develops cancer and soon passes, causing Jack to take a forced hiatus, and his ratings plummet even further, cutting to the found footage of the live broadcast. A last-ditch effort to overtake Carson in the ratings and become the king of late night with a Halloween special. Now, guests include a renowned psychic medium with a demonstration, a former magician turned debunker of the psychic phenomenon, and a live demon resurrection on a teen girl who is a sole survivor of a satanic cult. There's a lot of symbolism to keep an eye on, and subtle hints of Jack's own ties to a cult, and a possible deal with the devil that may have come with a price heavier than he even expected. A quick movie, clocking in at just under 90 minutes, gives a great look at how a live broadcast is actually done behind the scenes and the inherently evil nature of Hollywood. I give this one a solid 3.5 stars, gripping right up to the climax. I just found the choice of how the demon is revealed a bit odd. Now, I'll definitely be watching again when it drops on Shudder in a couple of weeks. That's my review. Again, congratulations on episode number 50.
Thank you so much, Scary. Nicely done. Well, here we are, standing on the edge of the podcast world, or whatever Macabre Cast is. It's more than a podcast. It's a forum of friends. Horror geeks, but friends, nonetheless. This show is nothing without you, Monster Kids. Especially the Drac Pack. Grim Kim, Scary Larry, Horror Chat Matt, Tina from Chicago. But there's room for more. Remember the compartments in Danny Torrance's head in Doctor Sleep where he stored all those creepy things from the Overlook? Well, it's that big. Join us. Join the family. Go over to Facebook on Macabre Theater, like and follow, and message me, Doc Mark, preferably a voice message, and join us on episode 51 next week on the YouTube channel, Macabre Cast. Until next time, stay on the road, keep clear of the moors, and beware the moon. But most of all, be good to yourself. This is Doc Mark, signing off. See you soon.
This is a Macabre Theater production.